2014 Dodge Grand Caravan 3.6. That little culprit. This is a cause for many people's heartaches and oil leaks. It's in there. Oil runs across the top of the motor, down the sides, over here, runs down both sides of the transmission, makes a big mess. Very common. We're going to change that today. Let's get after it. First things first, we're going to go under here. We're going to let some coolant out of this because the oil cooler obviously runs coolant and oil. It's going to make a mess. There's a drain out the bottom of there. It's going to run across this frame rail and make a mess. You can put a hose on there if you're ambitious. I'll just clean up the floor when I'm done. Sometimes you can get them with your fingers, but not today. The screwdriver's entirely too long. But I think it's gonna go. Okay, about 5 minutes it's been running out here. And I think that's about all she wrote. That's all I have patience for. Alright, let's get after this thing. That doesn't want to come off. Fortunately, this guy lives under the intake manifold, so all of that has to come out. Christmas tree clip. And this emissions line, I'm going to pull it off down here. Careful not to break that. Got That one gets a zip tie when it goes back together. Don't do that. Don't do what I did. A terrible example. Okay. This box is going to have to come off. It's over the top of one of the bolts. There's no fastener there. Stand by. Quick walk around to this little air box. So there's a retainer right there. There's no clamp here. I think it's just a boot. Go back in behind it so we can see. Retainer there. You gotta figure out how to get off. Set down there. Alright, we've devised a plan. I think this clip has to come out. Okay. They pop out. You just have to be aggressive. That is the answer. Oh. Super aggressive. Not a job for the faint of heart. Alright. That guy that was in the front just comes up. I was trying to pull the stem, which it does pull, and would release and make that a lot easier, but I couldn't get the tool around the inside of it. And then both the back tabs just lock on the studs back here. Whew. Alright. Now, looks like I can get to all. Looks like I missed one hose. Up here. Come on, girl. Come. There with a little twist. And I have a 10mm on the back side of both of these. Get some power tools in here. Let's get crazy. Ooh. I need a wobbly to get in there. More back in there. Seems like I saw a couple more on the front side. Magnet to catch this bolt because I can't get two hands in or the nut. Can't get two hands in here, and I don't want to have to chase it. One more. Then, hopefully, the bottom side of at least one of those brackets might have to come off. I believe I only see one bolt in the bottom of this one. I think we're gonna pull the bottom of that bracket. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you can see. Bottom bolt, that bracket. There's a plastic clip that goes on there. That holds that wiring harness to it. Looks like a 13mm bolt there. Looks like you're gonna have to have it deep. It's got a long stud on it. That'll do. Alright, that bolt out of the way. And this bracket come loose. It's still got another clip in it. Hang on the wiring harness, we'll just let it rest there. Now, let's pull the top bolts on the air intake first. Looks like an 8 or a Torx. 8 sounds pretty good to me. Bolts going into plastic and they kind of stay there. must be all of them, because I'm moving. And then you still got these two studs that come in from the side, so you're going to have to lift up and go toward the firewall. Terrible example. Before you go crazy, take something and fill these holes. You're not putting car parts into your intake. Okay. Now we can carry on. The wiring harness runs to the injectors and the coil packs on both sides. We're going to unplug the injectors, leave the harness, and take the fuel rail with the lower intake manifold. That's my plan. So these plastic plugs on the wiring harness, I'm going to work them out. Plastic Christmas tree clips. Get them off the top. And then, hopefully you can see this, these injector plugs all have safety retainers on them. Oh, that one broke. I hate it when I break stuff. And then what do you do? Well, then you find a pick. Okay, have more. This side, I can see. Just super clean. This side, people, how it is. That one. Come on. Magical rag appearing trick. Fire. Not gonna take this like I do. Let's go dry. Okay. Okay. Let's never do that again. Okay. Now, we're ready for bolts on this lower manifold. Also 8s. Let's go. One more plastic guy right here. Alright, one more down here too. Okay, now, alright, without disconnecting our fuel rail, that guy, hopefully my bolts don't fall out, I don't think they will. Hang on. Gonna flip up out of the way. Money tab. Okay. Bolts in the top of this oil cooler are an E8 inverted Torx. Put that on there. 4. And one way up here in the front. That's for 5. And then there's 2 plugs. There's 2 plugs and a coolant line down in here. We're gonna have to get off. The one is accessible right now pretty easily, so we'll slide up the safety, push the button, and pull that plug. A little bit of love, gentle, kind persuasion. Tuck it back out of the way. And the other 2, we're going to pick it up a little bit and snag them. All right. Wiggle. Up she goes. This thing's full of oil and antifreeze, so you're going to get that all over the valley there. But not much you can do about it besides clean it up. This retaining clip here. Get that. Long needle nose is how I'm going for it. And then get a pair of hose pliers. If we can wrap around this, and she wants to come off. Just like that. Exposes this other sensor. Push button. Now she comes. That valley is full of oil. I have a vacuum. It's just for this kind of situation. That's its job, to clean up goop and gunk, and that's all I use it for. If you don't have that, I don't know how you're gonna clean that mess out. Good luck. Unless you sucked yours out like I did mine, that valley is going to be chucked clear full of oil and antifreeze. But, so and then I'm clean. Put that my side back on it. Second out of it, but don't everything on it. Veins are clean. That's it. They'll forgive me. So let's put the new one in. Let's do it. Okay. From Chrysler, this guy comes with all new O-rings, gaskets, whatever you want to call them. You can call them either one, I think, because they're round and they're gaskets. But little petroleum jelly on there to make sure they can move while they seat. All 1, 2, 3, 4. Those flat ones, and then this one here, I'm going to get just a little bit of that petroleum jelly in that hole for that O-ring to hang out on. And then, in reverse order of how we came apart, let's plug this guy back in. That plug doesn't want to lock. Pry out on the tab a little bit there and make sure it locks. This coolant hose down here. Going back into place. Okay. The top one's still pretty accessible. So while we're clean, let's just stick this down in there. I can see that tube that goes into the hole on this side. It slides right in there. Real nice. You get a couple bolts started. I'm not going to torque them tight because there's a torque sequence. I just want to get a couple of them started. Okay, bolts are started. I'm going to go look up a torque sequence for you and torque specs. We'll go from there. All right, going back in. These bolts are to be torqued to 12 Newton meters. And the sequence is 1, 2, this front corner. I am just getting these snug so that I'm not going forever on the torque bench. 3, 4, 5. Okay. Let me grab a torque wrench. Alright, locked in at 12. So let's go again. 12 Newton meters. Just get a click. Front left corner. Number 2. Front right bolt is 3. Back left bolt is 4. Which leaves the center rear bolt is 5. And then I'm a double checker. I like to go back and hit every bolt one more time. Did I miss one? And I take it apart again. Off camera, I hit these surfaces with my mucky vacuum. This engine's actually pretty nice because I can see all the way to the top of the valves. So if I do drop something in there, I'll be able to see it, but I'd rather not. Those look awesome. All of these gaskets get replaced on the intake manifold. Little Vaseline, petroleum jelly, and just get each one of them. Ooh, I almost forgot. That would have sucked. Reverse order. Don't forget this guy, because I just about did. Plug him in. Make sure you get a good click out of it. Tug on it, make sure it's not coming off. They're all clean. They look great. I'll roll this back around on that fuel line that we chose not to unhook. Going straight down to avoid bouncing this thing off of dirty surfaces. You can see front holes here. I've got bolts lined up. This also has a torque sequence. I'm gonna suck these down. Switch to my 8mm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're just going to snug these down a little teeny bit in that order, just so we're not forever on the torque wrench. That was pretty snug. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, set the torque wrench up. All right, 12 Newton meters. We're starting with 1, front right, and the 12 Newton meters. Click. 2, front left. Click. 3 is the center rear. 4, left rear. 5, front left. 6, front left. 7, and then 8. And because I don't like to do things twice. Okay. All right. She's all torqued. We're going to put all of our injector plugs back on. All of our Christmas tree clips and our wiring harness back in place. There's one down here. And one up here. One here. And one here. Okay. Pull that out and we'll vacuum it off. That's all those need. They're gorgeous. And new gaskets for all of them. Petroleum jelly. Oh yeah. Get it. Alright, this is me interrupting this message to tell you to put this little foam thing back in that you just had to take out of the way. I was in a hurry, kicking butt, taking names, and guess what? I had to take it all back apart. So put that in. And let's go from there. This feller, I think you can see. I'm going to make sure that this surface is all good to go. Okay, so remember, we have the bolts on the front of this that have to go into these holes up here as we go down. So we're going to get them in first. Millimeter. Again, this has a torque sequence. Okay, because we're going into plastic, they've changed the torque specification on these fasteners to 10 Newton meters. And then we start with 1, which is this guy right in here. 1. We're going 2, which is the center one in the front. 3, center one in the back. 4, left one in the front. 5, left one in the back, 6, right one in the front, and 7, right one in the back. And then not because I have to, but because I like to. Then we have nuts on the front, hoses all the way around, there's a bracket on the back. Put it on first, finger tighten a couple of nuts. And then get that bolt down the bottom. A sad, sad light. Okay. Back up here, we have this vacuum line here. This comes up here, in that hole, plug, clip on top of here. Snap on there. Alright, plug first, then snap. This will go into that air box. We have vacuum line in the back. Got it, got it. I missed this guy. He was back behind the intake, hiding down there. This guy, Muscle Mania, going back in. No, sir. And that one's in. I need both of those back to snap. They're not just going to for me. Nothing. I'm not gonna give up. Sometimes a good old-fashioned hunk of 2x6 is the answer. Okay. Let me get this plug here. Snug. Because I broke it. Tie him up there. Boom. Put some coolant back in it. I'm going to change the oil. But that's it, folks.
Does this dog look starving to you? He is starving. We're all starving. We need your help. Please like and subscribe.